Well, hello, my friends. Dr. J here, out on a little walk, trying out some new camera equipment. You know, one of the biggest challenges that I've had, I guess, over the last couple of months is just not feeling comfortable with how I was recording or what I was doing. I was trying the DJI Osmo 3 and was kind of going back and forth with it. I guess I like it in some respects, but I don't like the bulk, and trying to be a little more in the minimalist category as opposed to having a bunch of extra stuff. It's kind of led me to going back to just using my iPhone. And so what I'm actually trying today is the Insta360 Flow Pro 2. I think it's the Flow Pro 2 or the Flow 2 Pro, something along those lines. So I'm out on a walk, just one of the campgrounds that I've actually stayed at a little bit in the past. It's kind of nice. It's a nice campground here in Colonial Beach, and it's just a little side trail and a little some older RVs that they were here the last time I was here, actually, but this is just a little side trail. Wanted to get a few steps in. As you can see, it's a little gloomy and overcast out, and has been raining this morning, and so these days kind of suck for me. They really do. I've just always struggled with this type of weather in general, but one of the things that I struggle with now is, if it's cold and windy and rainy outside, it's not really good weather to be out on a motorbike. And so that's a little bit of a downer. In a pinch, if I had to go someplace or do something, I certainly could. I'm quite comfortable with it, biking in the rain. But it's not ideal, and just being cold and wet on the ride is a little miserable. Although I do have some waterproof jacket, and so that does help. But it's tough to be stuck in the van. It is Sunday, so it would have been a good day to get out and do something. It looks like there's going to be rain tomorrow. Not that big of a deal. I'll probably be working for the next couple of days, but still struggling with where I'm at in life, where I'm at in terms of travel, what I'm looking at doing. I am looking at, I still looking at getting rid of the van. That is kind of in process right now, and I'm looking to transition and do some more travel by air, and certainly branch out into Asia. I hope the sound's okay, actually, as it's a little bit on the windy side. So I have actually used gimbals in the past to do some stuff, and this, I have to say, is probably one of the better gimbals that I've used in quite a while, and it's been quite a while since I used a gimbal. But idea of using my smartphone, just using my iPhone to do some of my stuff. I mean, certainly there's a very good camera inside my iPhone, as opposed to having a secondary camera, even though I'm still struggling to put the 360 stuff together. And so just really struggling to really get my channel solidified and kind of put some content out there. It's like I have this grandiose vision of what I want to create, and I never really seem to be able to really pull it together. And then, of course, stuff like this kind of brings me down, and then kind of being a little bit confined, and then it's like, okay, well, then I got to work for the next couple of days, and then when I get a chance that I'm not working, I want to get out and actually explore and do some things. And so it's tough, I got to be honest. And so I'm looking forward to creating a workspace that I can just work in, as opposed to having to set things up and take things down and kind of move from place to place, which is what I've been doing for the last year. I feel like I'm really starting to come out of my shell and really starting to reconnect with who I am. It's taken a good year plus to get to that place, so that's a good thing. You know, dealing with depression is a tough one in general. Dealing with depression while you're traveling, it's like I'm out there doing the things that I want to do, the things that I'm most excited about in life, and at the same time, you know, had this depression that was just kind of bringing me down in so many ways. It is a really nice park, and I like this park quite a bit. Even the park ranger, when he helped me move in, kind of said, "Oh yeah, I remember you. You were here a few months ago." It's been about 5 months since I've been here. I was actually here kind of at the beginning of the season, where ironically was a little bit chilly out, and one of the challenges that I had at that time was that my bike was kind of on the fritz, so to speak. I had some mechanical problems that I wasn't able to easily iron out on my own. Ironically, it's time to do a bunch of maintenance, and so I just ordered some things to do that this week. But nonetheless, I do have that secondary transportation in line, so I'm able to get out and explore a little bit, which I did yesterday. Did quite a bit of riding around the area, Colonial Beach. It's really nice. Would certainly be nicer if it was a lot warmer out. But honestly, I'm going south as rapidly as I can. I leave here on Friday, so it's Sunday now, so 5 days. So I've got about two and a half days worth of work. I'll probably get a little bit of playtime midweek. It's stuff to do. The maintenance on my bike will arrive, and I could postpone it until Friday, but I'm likely to work on my bike this week, get that stuff dialed in and out of the way. So when I hit North Carolina here later this week, which is about 300 miles south, hopefully it's going to be a little bit warmer, and hopefully you can see there's basketball, there's mini golf, there's a lot of things going on. And so if it wasn't so chilly out, there would probably be some kids out playing, doing some things out, which I really enjoy this lifestyle. And there's a lot of kind of family dynamics in and around this lifestyle. Like a lot of the things that we did as kids, at least I feel like I did as a kid, you know, riding my bike and playing out in the yard and playing out in the field. I always see that kind of stuff going on in these RV parks with kids that, you know, a lot, especially people that travel full time. Their kids are really hyper engaged in outdoor play, which I think is a really great thing. This week kind of marks a transitional week. I just left Pennsylvania, where I'd actually been. I'd been at a location in 3 weeks in Pennsylvania. Prior to that, I was in New Jersey for 3 weeks. I was checking out New York and doing some things up there. I was in Pennsylvania prior to that, spent some time with some friends, really extensively explored Pennsylvania, New York, kind of a lot of that area in that range. Actually drove up to Connecticut one day. So I've had an opportunity to really explore this area quite a bit. And this week marks a transition where I'm headed south, headed south for the winter, which is a little bit of a bittersweet. I didn't get a chance to go fully up to Maine like I had intended, just because I'm running out of time. And as you can see, it's getting cold. The leaves are turning colors. Fall is on top of us. And, you know, the summer is over. The fall is here. The wind is blowing cold, and it's time to move on. And that certainly has had an impact on my functionality too. I know a lot of people get seasonal affective disorder, or really just if they're not formally in that range. So one of the biggest things that I learn as a psychologist, that I know as a psychologist, is really if you're dealing with something mood-wise, if you're struggling mood, you get out and you do something different. And that's what days like this are really challenging in a sense that it's hard to get out and do something different when you are kind of down. And so my doing something different today is testing out the gimbal, trying some video software, doing some things along those lines, to really do something different in a sense of trying something new. I'm gonna go put this video together and publish it. Nothing spectacular, but I know a lot of people struggle with that. And even though I'm traveling full time, which is my passion, which is the things that I'm like really excited about in life, it's still stuff that I gotta deal with. It's still, a challenge to drag myself up and push myself out there, to do life differently than I've done it before. But, again, making this video, playing with my new gimbal, trying things out is some of the things that I try to do something different. I guess the other thing that I'm struggling with, and it's hard to admit, and it's certainly hard to admit on video, is I'm lonely. I've traveled about 12,000 miles in the van this year and 10,000 miles on the scooter. I've traveled, I just realized, well, in the last 8, it's been about a year. I would say in the last year, I traveled about 16,000 miles, both in the van and the scooter combined. And the first part of it, when I left California, started to head up to Utah, kind of headed across the country. I would say through March, April of this year, I was pretty content to be alone, just taking time to rediscover myself and process the loss of my mom and just process a lot of things. I wanted to be alone. I was okay being alone. I was okay getting on the scooter and doing my own thing. And I'm still kind of in that place because it's my outlet, but I'm not really too keen on traveling by myself anymore. And that's been one of the challenges that I face. And one of the catalysts for me going back to Thailand was, ironically, I never felt like I was alone in Thailand, even though I was making friends. I was starting to engage in some groups and some activities and things like that. So I was totally fine with the place that I was in. And I was just kind of at that point where that stuff was going to become more, where I would be settling into a place long term, and I'd have the opportunity to meet people and engage in groups and activities. And I'm just I'm sad, and I'm tired of being sad. I'm tired of being alone, and I think that being alone is actually weighing on me more heavily. So I'm actually headed to Florida, and we'll be there in a few weeks. After I leave here on Friday, I've got about 10 days, I think, in Stella, North Carolina. And then from there, I'm actually bopping down to Florida, and I should be in Daytona, Florida, I think on the 31st. So today is actually October 12th, I think, 11th or 12th. So I'm really going to be there in about 20 days. And so it's kind of coming to an end, which I'm happy about. And it's also a little bittersweet because I know that sometime soon I'm going to be transitioning out of the van, which is a little bittersweet because I've put a lot of time into the van. I've put a lot of time into living in the van. But it is time to say goodbye to Nomi, as I've called my van. and put the backpack on and get out there and do life differently. So it's scary. It's a little overwhelming, but I'm jumping into it. I think the moral of what I wanted to share today, other than trying out my new gimbal, was just really, you know, when you're up against it and you're struggling, regardless of where you're at in this world, change things up. Get out there and do something different. Because if you keep on doing the same thing every day, you're going to get what you've always got. So nonetheless, Dr. J here, out. Going to push this to my daily blog and take it from there, and maybe put together a few other videos along the way. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I hope I have some more fun things to share along the way. Peace.